that you do to actively fight for equality in your community?
Yeah, absolutely. I try to educate people. I think that's a very basic, very hands-on, something that anyone can do in the community is to educate others. Especially, for example, in the workplace, I work with a lot of people that are pretty conservative, and they probably enjoy my work, they love what I do, they appreciate the things that I contribute in teams and whatnot, but they don't know about my private life. And so that's the moment, and they might be super conservative, and they might have voiced an opinion against gay rights or something, you know? It's like, oh, gay marriage shouldn't be allowed, but he or she has no idea that there's someone in that circle that is, you know, gay or queer or any part of the community. And so that's the moment when we should take advantage and say like, hey, but like, would you say that if I tell you that I'm gay? And that sparks something on people's minds, because you're like, oh, I actually know this person, I actually think that this person's really awesome, why would I not want them to get married? And so then you start educating people, you start showing them that like everyone is the same, like we're all one. And we have so many more similarities than not. So yeah, that's part of it, being loud about, not being loud and obnoxious, but loud about gay issues with people. I like marching. I've gone to a bunch of like different political things that have happened at the Capitol, and I think that's good. And the other thing that I do, and although in very small amounts, I donate to some campaigns that are fighting for gay rights.
Okay, what effect do you think that has had on people, for you educating them? And
I think that it has opened their minds, and I think that's a very, very important thing, because at the beginning they probably didn't even know that someone that they esteem or appreciate is gay or queer, and by allowing them to see this person that they considered normal in their standards, you know, is just like them, it kind of like gives them a different perspective of understanding, like, oh, why am I being this way? You know, like why my miseducation is driving me to act the way that I'm acting. So yeah, I think it's important to have like a little wake up, you know?
what do you think people can change to be more supportive of the LGBT community?
But they can change? Would you say like attitude-wise or policy-wise? Like they kind of saying like, hey, we should do this or that?
I think just more policy.
More policy-wise? I think it will be very important to introduce federal policy in where different gender identities and sexualities are taught in elementary school, maybe even younger in kindergarten. And it doesn't have to be treated as a sexual thing or a dirty thing or a sinful thing. It's just what it is. And we should be able to have inclusive communities where anyone can feel accepted and welcome, no matter what their likes or orientation might be. And so when you teach in the schools that only this boy man, I mean, it's a boy that looks like a boy, and it's a boy, and it's a girl that looks like a girl, and it's a girl, and they get married and they have children, and there's no other option, you're closing from the beginning the train of thought that human beings can have, and realizing that there are other opportunities or options. And just like gay people don't go gay because of, you know, being taught because they're straight, and they like, you know, like a man would like a woman and a woman would like a man, and there's nothing that they can do to change that. It's the same way with a gay kid. It's not like by not teaching a gay kid what gay is, you're gonna avoid that gay kid to come out of the closet. That kid will come out no matter what. And so why not include that sort of curriculum where it's like all inclusive in gender identities and sexuality, so that kids know that everything is okay as far as like those identities and gender roles are. I think that would be pretty important, yeah.
Have you seen like the human rights of LGBTQ change since you came out, and was it bad or good?
Yeah, I mean, when I came out, gays couldn't get married. and that was only, I mean, it was only like 2 years after that, you know, gay marriage happened, but that's a huge advancement that I didn't see growing up. And then, you know, kind of like a little added value to it, in the country that I'm from, Chile, like, it's not legal to get married yet. And I'm here and I get to enjoy those freedoms and rights. So there's a lot to be grateful for sure. The fight's not done, and we got so much more to do and so much more to educate, but I think the gay rights movement has come along on great strides.
Okay, where do you work and like what does your company do?
So I work in the nonprofit sector. I work for an organization called Golden Rule Project. And so you know the Golden Rule? Treat others as you want to be treated. So we try to, and that rule can be found in almost every religion, almost every civilization throughout time as a basic principle, of how to behave. And imagine how awesome the world would be if we all remembered, not learned, because we all learn it at some point or another, school, church, friends, family, whatever, How awesome would it be if we all remember to live by the Golden Rule? I feel like a lot of things would change, and a lot more consideration would be given to others. Because you're seeing that if I want to be treated well, then I need to be treating well others. And so we have different projects that spread that principle into communities so that we can create more kindness, more empathy, and more compassion between everyone. So basically get paid to spread kindness.
Have you ever experienced like discrimination in the workplace?
Not now in this organization, but one of the biggest discriminations that I've experienced for sure is when applying to jobs. I don't know if it's my name because it's a Latino name, or my country of origin because I wasn't born here, or my residential status, which is with a green card. I think that those things, I've been pretty far into hiring processes, and just because they find out that either my country of origin is not American, or that, my first language is Spanish, without even knowing me, there's already like a bias that happens, and I've been, kind of like sort of turned to the side because of that. And I feel like there's been times, not that I have felt discriminated, but definitely more like a victim of bias when people, because I have a little accent, you can hear it, right? So when people hear my accent, they think that I'm less capable of either understanding something or doing something that I'm very capable of, like something that I went to college for. And there's like sort of like this credibility goes down just because I don't speak Spanish, that I don't speak English as my first language. Which is really dumb, but I've experienced that for sure, a lot of times actually.
Okay, is there anything you'd like to talk about or say that we haven't already talked about?
I think that if there's a message that I can give to you and your classmates or whatever, is that miseducation and ignorance are the biggest enemy of humanity. If we want to have an inclusive community, an inclusive society, if we want to experience peace and compassion and love during our time, we need to practice it ourselves first. And that happens with education. That happens with learning what the other side has to say, so that you can understand why they're doing that, where are they coming from. And not that will change your opinion, but at least that you would understand, are you in the right situation? Are you in the right position? Or are they? Or are we both? Why does it have to be a right or a wrong? And I think that as we get more educated, we're able to open our minds to understand that there's so many ways to get to a place. There's no black and white, and it's all gray, or not gray, it's all rainbow. There's so many colors, you know what I mean? And we should be open to all of them. And I think that happens mostly with education.
Okay, that's all.